The Stage Door Show, celebrating the independent artist. With your host, Dave Hondel.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Stage Door Show tonight. This is Dave Hondel. Tonight, my guest is not only a #1 hit-producing music artist and producer, but he's also a media entrepreneur with his hit TV network, Canyon Star TV. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Joey Canyon. Thanks for being with us, Joey.
Hey, Dave, I'm really glad to meet you and good to be on your show.
Absolutely. And talk a little bit about your TV network and basically how that kind of came about.
Well, Dave, it pretty much happened a little over 6 years ago. I had the Joey Canyon show on a previous network. And after a couple of seasons, there was a decision that I made to pull my network or pull my TV show off that network to start my own television network. And that was because I had seen where television was going in terms of the sex and the violence and the profanity and just the whole thing just was bad taste in my mouth. I mean, people can watch whatever they want, don't get me wrong, but I just felt there was a need and I felt a responsibility to start my own television network for a safe haven for families to watch 100% family friendly family programming television network. And not only that, but the commercials are 100% family friendly as well. So that's really in a nutshell how it started. It didn't happen overnight. It took a long time. It took 6 years, but we launched early this year in January, and it's just been going fantastic. We have over almost 9,000 titles and over almost, what do we have? Almost 8,500 episodes. So
wow.
There's something for everybody on Canyon Star TV, and that's how I designed it. And I'm very fortunate that I have my television show, my previous show there, and 39 episodes of that. And hopefully soon in 2024, we'll start shooting my show again. So that's that story. So,
well, that's awesome, Joey, and thank you for bringing that up because I said, now more than ever, I think we need the clean family. We need to go back to where it was, and there's too much on TV right now that if my kids were little, they're not anymore, but if they were, I wouldn't let them watch half the stuff that's on TV right now. So it's great that you have this network, and talk about not only that, but talk about the evolution of TV and streaming services, because obviously when we were growing up, we didn't have that, and we didn't have social media, we didn't have the streaming, capabilities. So now with that, obviously it's a great opportunity, I think, to do more of this, right? I mean, and is that where do you see this going in the future?
Yeah, Dave, you make a very valid point there. And let me tell you why. Because when I first decided to do the network, I looked at broadcast, I looked at cable, and I looked at satellite, and I looked at streaming. Okay. I read and researched what was going on with streaming. And what I found is that broadcast television, cable, and satellite are going to be going by the wayside, and that streaming back then streaming was going to be the wave of the future, and I wanted to jump on that and ride that wave. And I was right to do that, because if you look at the ABCs and the NBCs and the CBSs of the world, the broadcast, the big three of broadcast, they have their own streaming network, don't they?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
And they all followed suit because they knew that it was going to streaming. So that is the progression of why I went to streaming and what is going on out there in the television world. So,
but not just TV, but let's talk about music right now, because I know being a musician for so many years, like yourself, and unfortunately, I mean, even CDs are almost a thing of the past, and with the digital streaming, I know that it's a lot easier for people to get the music and download it quickly. But that's also the problem with it, I think, is that it's so easy to download. And, I used to love going to record stores and pull vinyl albums and look at, just the notes on the back and,
Sure.
who was part of the, the liner notes and who
Right.
was on the album. And unfortunately now I think it's almost a society where how quick can we get something, how quickly can I get it in my hands? But then you're not really appreciating, I guess, what goes behind the music. And I don't know, I want to get your thoughts on that, because I think, things have changed so much that it's, that it's more available now and quicker. But again, how does that hurt the artist, where before, you buy, CDs or you buy albums, and artists would get, points, paid, certain residuals off that. And it almost seems like now with the streaming services, you have to get so many more, I guess, streams or purchases to really, I mean, am I wrong on that, or just, I want to get your opinion on that?
Well, it's a two-edged sword, and no, you're not wrong. They're just two sides of this whole digital world. And I can take you back from when I started, in the business. Back then, it was 2-inch. It was 2-inch tape. It was analog.
Right.
And really, to get anywhere, you needed an agent and you needed a record label. And if you didn't have that, nobody knew who you were unless you sang in nightclubs for the rest of your life. And I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
But I went through the motions of that. I moved from Colorado to Green Hills in Nashville in 1993 to try to get signed to a label. And after a year, I headed back to Denver. I just didn't. So as it progressed, the digital age, digital age became more and more of a reality. And what it does is it really it gives an artist a chance to self-promote. There are platforms out there where that are available where there wasn't back in the day. You couldn't even get heard back then if you weren't on the radio, and you can pass out so many cassettes at the nightclub that you worked in, or CDs as it went further. But now, and this is where, I went from that world to the digital world. And the digital world got me got me way out there. But again, like I said, it's a two-edged sword. Yes, it gives the up-and-comers a chance to be heard, and it gets, you get a chance to get, how many likes and whatever, how many plays, so on. And that has launched a lot of careers. I see it. But the other thing it does is, and I say this with kid gloves, not everybody that's streaming out there is a star. Not everyone is very good. I mean, it's just the way it is. And really, there's only that part hasn't changed, because way back when you had to be on a label, either you sold records or you were done. Okay. Right. Well, here in the digital world, if you don't get people listening, if you don't get impressions, if you don't get people listening to your music, it's the same thing. You're just going to fall by the wayside. So part of it's good. Part of it is still very tough. And it just gives people who think they can sing maybe a chance, and hopefully some of them make it, but not everyone is going to do that. So
yeah, it kind of crowds the field a little bit. And some of the people, I was talking to Chris Kirkpatrick, interviewed him a couple of years ago. We talked about that a lot, where he, before NSYNC, he was a working independent musician who played guitars in nightclubs and was hustling every night. Mm-hmm. And then somebody comes along and has a goofy whatever, that's going to hit and goes big viral. and these hardworking independent artists, are trying so hard to get listened to, and somebody might just come along with a kind of a shot in the dark, and hit it big. But that I think it's just a matter of just keep staying the course and continue to do what you're doing. And we have a lot of listeners out there that are indie artists, and talk to those listeners about staying that course and not giving up, because I think a lot of people before they realize they're about to make it, they don't realize it, but they could be this close, and if they give up, that's it. So talk about staying the course.
Well, people who know me know that my middle name is Persistence. Okay. And you just, first of all, you have to be real with yourself. If you decide you want to do this business, okay, you have to be real with yourself. Do you have the heart for it? Do you have the fortitude? Do you have the persistence? But the other thing is are you really better than good? When you listen to yourself, when you get in the studio, when you have a producer, and you really want honest answers, you have to look in the mirror at yourself and say, are you really that good? And if the answer is yes, then you can't not give up. You have to, because like you said, the moment you give up, that next phone call or that next Zoom meeting or whatever could be the one. And you don't want to go through life regretting that you just gave up, and forever after that you're a guy that said, I could have been.
Right.
And I never wanted to be that type of person. I didn't want to say, hey, I could have been this and could have been that. I wanted to say, I am that. I've done that.
Right.
And you just have to, hey, listen, I didn't make it in my 30s, in my 40s, okay, when it was really ideal time to do it. I made it later on after that. And I was fortunate that I had that I could write. I had some decent hits, but I had 8 number one. I have so far 8 number one hits, and I have some other writers out there that I've recorded their songs. So all I can say is, giving up should not be a part of your vocabulary. So
yeah, amen. That I appreciate that advice. And I just want to mention some of the accolades that you've had. In 2016, Male Country Artist of the Year, Crossover Artist of the Year in 2016. Also in 2016, Country Best New Artist of the Year, and Favorite Male Artist, Country Artist of the Year, and then also Entertainer of the Year. And then you were inducted into the Colorado Country Music Hall of Fame in 2021. So talk about that. That's what an honor. That's a lot of big artists came out of Colorado.
There is. In 2019, I was awarded the Entertainer of the Year from the Independent Music Network. That was a big deal for me. That just says something, if anything else. But I got word when I moved to Nashville two years ago, and just prior to moving, about 3 months prior, I got the call saying, we're going to nominate you for induction into the Colorado Country Music Hall of Fame. And I just thought, wow, that's wonderful. And then shortly thereafter, I got the call that I was chosen to be in that Hall of Fame. And then, of course, just a few days before moving here is when I received my plaque, and I sang that night along with the other inductees. And
wow,
it's that black plaque back there that's the one, and I'm very proud of that. And
absolutely.
So
awesome.
Thank you for recognizing those awards, and I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, and I think it just shows the hard work, and it shows the persistence, like we talked about, like not giving up and doing the thing until. I mean, it's not even about that so much as you're satisfying something within. I think as a musician, there's a lot of things, reason people sing and so forth, but I think there's so much gratification that comes with, having a good gig, or, being out that on stage and seeing the reaction that you get from all the people that you're playing for, which brings me to my next question. What's your favorite venue you've ever played, and where was that?
Well, that's kind of a different kind of question. I've been fortunate, first of all, to sing the national anthem 3 times at Coors Field in
Wow,
Denver, which,
that's great.
hey, listen, that's 46,000 people and
Yeah,
a guaranteed standing ovation, right?
right.
So that venue was just a whole lot of fun. And
Yeah.
then I can't count this as one, but I shot one of my music videos, Take My Money video, at Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Oh,
And at the time, a friend of mine, his buddy was in charge of the Parks and Recreation for Denver that owns it, and
yeah.
he let me have the whole park for shooting my video.
Wow, how cool is
And
that?
just to be there. Of course, there weren't any audience, but just to that venue is the finest outdoor venue in the world. So
I get so many, Joey, I get so many people. I've interviewed a lot of musicians, and Bruce Hall, without hesitation, from REO Speedwagon, he said that was the best, like, by far. And think about all the places, in the world they played. And you said so many people have said Red Rocks, and if they haven't played there, that's like their dream venue. So the fact that you got to do your music video there is like, what a treat.
oh gosh, I was very blessed. I was grateful. And it's that video is still out there. So
Well, everybody
you'll
check
see
that
a
out. I'm
young,
sure it's on
son.
YouTube.
Yeah, you'll see a young Joey in that. So
Well, Joey, I know we have just a little time left, but one of the things I want to say is, joeycanyon.com. I was on your site earlier, and just very well done. The site's very well done for everybody, all the listeners out there. You can see videos and see his biography, and so many other things. There's a store on there. So, I encourage everybody to go to joeycanyon.com and check out your TV network, your TV show. I was watching some clips of your TV show. Again, like I was saying before we recorded, that friend of the show, TG Shepherd, was on your show, and
yes.
it was a great show. And
I just saw TG and Kelly Monday when we did Christmas for Kids here in Henderson.
Oh, wow.
But
That's great.
and they're good friends. But I wanted to make sure that your listeners and your viewers out there can go to canyonstar.tv and sign up for free and watch all that we have on there. I'd be grateful if they all would go on there and sign up, because it doesn't cost anything, and free is still really good. So
Free is always good. Absolutely. Well, everybody check that out. And, I think you said sign up, and I know that, is there anything that they get reminders or anything like that, like newsletters or anything like that?
not yet. We don't really do that yet. We're still in our infant stage, but geez, you could just go on. I know people that go on the site all the time, and they're watching everything from music videos to old cartoons to our faith genre that is fantastic. I'm proud of all of those shows, and then the old nostalgic TV, Ozzie and Harriet, Red
Wow.
Skelton. I mean, there is so much content on there. Everybody will find something they like. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. Well, everybody go check that out. And before we leave, Joey, I have this question that I ask all my guests, but when it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to walk away with when they think of Joey Canyon?
I think all I can ask is that I was a good person, that I tried to help people, and that's my legacy, is that I help people, and that through it all, that my music brought some smiles and joy to people, and that I created a network that was backed by faith, that got there, that that people would be proud to watch my television network, Canyon Star TV. So
that's awesome, and great legacy. And Joey, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be on our show tonight, and continued success and luck with your your TV network and your music, and really have a fan here. Love watching your stuff and listening to your music over the years. I really appreciate again taking the time to be on the show. So thank you again.
Dave, it's been my pleasure, and anytime you want me back, I'll be there for you.
Well, I appreciate that, and happy holidays to you as well.
Merry Christmas.